Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to KRS TV. This is your boy Kenny, and this is my review of the 2018 Soul Train Awards. I have to say this award show was so good this year, and they need to bring back Tisha Campbell and Tichina Arnold because their chemistry is so amazing. I mean, one, they've been friends ever since they were like 12 years old, and they just played off of each other so well, and they literally had me cracking up with everything they did this show. And I love the opening number because both Tisha Campbell and Tichina Arnold, they're not only comedic actresses, they are both powerhouse vocalists. So they up there doing, because pretty much this show was paying ode to the 90s, because you know 90s had some of the best music ever, and I'm pretty sure y'all agree with me on that one, because some of the best music came out of that 90s era. And we see that Tisha Campbell and Tichina Arnold open up the show with all of this, with this remedy of 90s classics like TLC, In Vogue, Salt and Pepper. You know, they literally, Little Kim, they were just doing the damn thing, and they were playing off of each other. It was awesome. And then they shut that whole thing down when BBD came up in there, Belle Biv DeVoe. And you know, Belle Biv DeVoe, they are awesome live. I mean, they know how to give a great show. You know, BBD and New Edition, they always shut it down live when they perform. But BBD went up there and they did their thing. We see, we definitely saw, Ronnie, and we saw, Ronnie's wife, who's now on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So it was cool seeing them in their thing, and they literally set the tone for the show. Now let's see. Let me talk about some of the highlights of this show. The Soul Train Certified Award went to Ledisi, and I loved her look. The look that Ledisi had was very reminiscent of Bessie Smith to me. And she's just not too long ago got married, and she's her husband was there cheering her on, and she also dedicated her award to the memories of Nina Simone and Aretha Franklin. And then they also, throughout the show, they were showing back in the day performances on Soul Train, and they showed Tisha Campbell performing Push, Keep Coming Up Short. I used to love that damn song, because she had like a little minor hit while she was on Martin, and they showed her performance when she had performed Push on Soul Train. I thought that was cool. And then they had like this little segment called Last Night in Vegas that they did with H.E.R, and it was so funny. I lived for it. Tisha Campbell ate them brownies that was like Erykah Badu delivered a basket to them, and let's just say what's her face? Tisha Campbell ate them brownies that were laced with weed, and she was just tripping out, and it was hilarious. And then like H.E.R is kind of like trying to be the peacemaker, but then Tichina just threw herself onto him. I just thought that was cool. Also, another thing that happened, Best New Artist went to Daniel Caesar. Great, phenomenal talent. And then Jacquees performed, and I love Jacquees' voice. He has a very good singing voice, and I have to say his performance was really good. And then they brought back John B. Classic soul right there. He performed Someone to Love, and he also performed They Don't Know, like that's like the track right there. Don't listen to what people say. Like, and he was just getting it, and I was like, John B still looked good, and still got that swag, and I was so here for it. And then they brought out Donnell Jones, and Donnell Jones definitely still was throwing it down, and definitely what he did, Where I Wanna Be, ooh, classic jam. And then say Ooh, say what, say what, say what. I was like, ah, shit. That, it just took me out, and I was just so here for that performance, and it was awesome. And then they showed another Soul Train flashback when Destiny's Child first appeared on Soul Train, doing No No No. I was like, wow. I remember watching that, on Soul Train, because Soul Train, for me, Soul Train is so a part of my upbringing. I remember as a little boy, after watching Saturday cartoons, it was time for Soul Train, and I watched it every Saturday religiously. So Soul Train is definitely a part of my upbringing. It's a part of who I am. So I always celebrate Soul Train. I mean, I still watch some of the old episodes to this day. I'll be on YouTube getting my life watching Soul Train. And Don Cornelius, just a legend. And, rest in peace to Don Cornelius. Because Don Cornelius, I have to say, was a true pioneer and a true leader, in black music and black culture. And then they had the damn Soul Cypher. And let's just say that Soul Cypher is everything. I mean, it's just like I look forward to it every time, because they do that. On the Hip Hop Awards, they have the Hip Hop Cypher. Now they got a Soul Cypher for the Soul Train Awards, where they put a beat out or they put a song, and everybody just does their thing on it, off the cuff. And I have to say, this Soul Cypher was everything, because one, you had Erykah Badu on the turntable, then you had BJ the Chicago Kid, who's a phenomenal talent, did his thing, and they did it to Patti LaBelle's "If Only You Knew." So that was the beat that they were using, and everyone just went in there and did their thing. So we had BJ the Chicago Kid, who started off, did his thing. Then you had Queen Naja. She came out, did her thing. And then they brought out that motherfucker Luke James. And Luke James is one singing motherfucker. That motherfucker can blow. I mean, they were singing. But Luke James went out there, did his thing. And, and I'm definitely a fan of his character Noah on Star. So definitely, I'm a huge fan of Luke James. Love him to death. Love his vocal ability. Man has an incredible range. So that Luke James sings. So he did his thing, but then they shut it down when they brought out Kelly Price. Now, Kelly Price, you say what you want about her, that is one powerful vocalist, and she can sing like nobody else. Homegirl came out there and she shut the Cypher down. And I was so here for my girl Kelly Price. I'm like, Kelly Price, definitely still a big fan of hers. I mean, I definitely been listening to her, and like and she also brought back, that song, that infamous song she did with R. Kelly and Ron Isley, and she was bringing that "She Was My Best Friend and You Was My Husband." I was like, ooh, I was so moved by it. I was like, yes, Kelly, you better do the damn thing. And then all right, so then we get this on the CocaCola stage, for like new inspiring talent. They brought out this guy named Cautious Clay and Ari Lennox, and they both were phenomenal. Then they also had this performance from Corrine Hawthorne, who's like this gospel artist. And it was so funny because Tisha actually was the one who was introducing her, and she was saying that, yes, and those know that I carry God with me every day. And then Tashina just came out. Come on, Tisha. When is the last time your ass been to church? I was cracking up. I'm like, that's why I said they need to bring them back next year, because they were hilarious. and I was so here for it. Um, the winner for best album mixtape went to her. Another phenomenal talent. I love her voice. I mean, this girl, I have to say she has a combination of so many because she is such a well-rounded musician. She's not just a dynamic vocalist, she's a musician. This girl can play. You know, baby got mad talent, and she wasn't there to accept the award, but I'm so glad that her definitely was recognized at on this award show. Um, let's see what else. Uh, oh yes, and definitely the highlights for this show was um but I have to say one of the biggest highlights was Erica Badu was presented the Legend Award. SZA was the presenter, and SZA looked good. Um, you had people like from Solange, Andre 3000, Steve Harvey, and Questlove, and Dave Chappelle, doing commentary about her successful career and how you can never put Erica in a box. I mean, I have to say, Erica Badu is like, pretty much Erica to us is how is I would equate Erica Badu to what Madonna is for pop culture, because Madonna was always pushing the envelope, always changing up her image, and she had no boundaries. And the same thing I can say about Erica Badu. I mean, she's our treasure, and I love me some Erica Badu. I definitely remember buying her album and played it out, and I've also had Mama's Gun and a few other of her albums. America. I mean, I love Erica Badu. Love her down. And then like when it came down to her performance, boy, Erica shut it down. I mean, she did, Green Eyes and I Want You. And then she started going into the old school shit. She brought back Tyrone. And I remember I had the album where Tyrone was on it. The live album. Yes, she did that. Because that definitely brought back some memories. Because Tyrone was my shit. Everybody was singing that damn song. And then she played my song, The Other Side of the Game. What you gonna do when they come for you? Boom, 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 boom. Working honest, but it pays the bills. I was like, oh, that took me out. I was like, Erica Badu did her damn thing, and she rightfully deserved to be called a legend, because she is a living legend. I mean, Erica Badu was one of those artists that changed the game, and she still, she still is, and she's still doing the same thing. She's still not only putting out new music, but she's constantly pushing the envelope, and I definitely respect her for that, because she was one of those artists that was not going to let the industry put her in a box. She was going to be who she was, and she's so well-rounded. I mean, she's not only a talented artist, but she's a talented actress. I mean, she has so many hats that she wears. And, Erica Badu definitely deserved her Legend Award, and she proved it tonight that she is a legend, because she had the crowd completely mesmerized. And another highlight of this show was they presented the Lady of Soul Award to Faith Evans, and I have to say this was the best of the night. Stevie J presented to her, and her and Stevie J not too long ago just got married. So, and Stevie J looked good. Stevie J looked good. Stevie looked good in his suit, and he went up there and presented, the award to his wife. And in her commentary, you had Missy Elliott, Albie Shore, Stevie J himself, as well as Karen Clark Sheard. Now, if you got one of the Clark sisters talking about you, you know you can sing. Because Faith grew up singing in church, and one of her biggest inspirations was the Clark sisters. So to have Karen Clark Sheard actually talk about you during your acceptance of getting the Lady of Soul Award was everything. That solidified Faith. Now, if you really want to know why Faith is who she is, you watch this performance tonight, you knew it. You knew why Faith deserves to be the Lady of Soul, because that woman can sing her face off. And that, that was everything right there. And I have to say, Faith looked beautiful. That hair, baby looked good. The body, baby looked nice. I mean, Faith was stunning. She gets up there, she gets her award, and then she starts performing. And she starts off with the classic Soon As I Get Home. I mean, that's a ballad that, you play that ballad on the late night. You trying to cuddle up with your boo, and y'all trying to do some loving, baby. But that song, now you a bad vocalist when you can start off with a ballad and you can pretty much control the crowd, because the crowd was just out there singing the song. Definitely one of my favorite tracks. And then her daughter China was singing back up, and China looked good. China was doing her thing back there, and I was like, so shout out to China Evans, her daughter. I thought that was cute. And then they brought out, then she starts doing Emotional, and they brought out Carl Thomas, and I'm like, yes. I'm a huge Carl Thomas fan. Love his voice. Love. I just love me some Carl Thomas. Like, that album, I played that album out. I got that album for my birthday. I think I was 16 or 17. My mother had bought me his album for my birthday, and I played it out. I mean, every single song. Like, his album was so good, I just let that bitch play. I didn't skip to numbers or nothing. I would just let it play. And for like almost a week, I went to bed, with Carl Thomas, and I had that thing on repeat and just let the whole thing play. That album, Emotional, was impeccable. And Carl Thomas is still doing this thing as an artist, and he came out there doing this thing. And Faith then started to party. She started doing some of her old tracks, like I Remember, and I Never Knew a Love Like This Before. Like, she was just doing her thing and was partying it up. And I was just so lit, because that had to be, for me, the best performances. Her and Erykah Badu shut this shit down. And these were like some of the best artists of the 90s. And I had to say, this was a great show. It was done well. Bring back Tisha and Tashina, because I was here for it. That's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments, or give your share some of your highlights for tonight's show. Subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. You can find them in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I truly enjoyed tonight. So until next time, everybody, take care.